Business 200, Principles of Marketing, and this is chapter 16. So this is the final chapter of this of the semester and of Unit 4, Responding to Your Customer. Chapter 16 is Social Responsibility and Sustainability. Here are your learning objectives and executive perspective I'd like you to read on your own. So corporate social responsibility, CSR, refers to an organization's obligation to maximize its positive impact and minimize its negative impact on society. Stakeholder responsibility focuses on the obligations an organization has to its stakeholders, those who can affect or are affected by a firm's actions. Corporate philanthropy is the act of organizations voluntarily donating some of their profits or resources to charitable causes. As you can see in this figure, economic and legal considerations from the foundation of corporate social responsibility. The ethical and philanthropic aspect go further. They encompass actions that, while not required of the firm, meet stakeholders' expectations for how the firm should act. And here's an example from the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. And then here is an example from Pepsi about how they handle corporate philanthropy. The tasks of implementing a broad corporate social responsibility focus through a specific action is often difficult, but firms can use the following key elements to guide them through the process. Toyota has been able to build strong connections with its stakeholders by focusing on these three key elements. As it developed a corporate social responsibility policy, the company's shift to stakeholder-centric approach has brought it observable benefits, including improved customer and employee loyalty at all levels of the company. Figure 16.2 illustrates how the corporate social responsibility policy at Toyota guides decisions across the firm and throughout the world. And here's an example on how companies can become environmentally friendly. Failure to include all stakeholder groups is perhaps the biggest misstep marketers can make when evaluating their corporate social responsibility programs. Companies must undertake quantitative measures as part of their audit. Such measures include return on investment and any changes in employee turnover and brand image associated with the corporate social responsibility program. Corporate volunteerism is the policy or practice of employees volunteering their time or talents for charitable, educational, or other worthwhile activities, especially in the community. Marketers should also do qualitative research in an attempt to measure what consumers and employees know about the organization's corporate social responsibility efforts. Volunteer projects such as FedEx delivering emergency medicine to disaster areas or Aetna tackling the health ailments of underserved communities achieve maximum impact when they draw on a company's strengths. Sustainability as a commitment to a lifestyle that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable marketing is a process of creating, communicating, and delivering value to customers in a way that recognizes and incorporates the concept of sustainability. One of the easiest ways for marketers to engage in sustainable marketing is to seek ways to cut costs using sustainable products or practices as a guideline. Life cycle assessment is a technique used to assess environmental impacts associated with all stages of producing and developing a firm's products. Here's an example of how Levi's is improving sustainability. Sustainability vision begins by communicating how the company's industry and specific organization work within the larger social and natural world. Dedication to the environment. As part of its sustainability efforts, Coca-Cola helps citizens of Montreal, Canada, harvest rainwater by donating 100 rain barrels to Regroupment, an educational program dedicated to the environment. Consumerism is a movement made up of citizens and government entities that focuses on protecting consumers and promoting their interests. Sustainable marketing. Despite a trend toward consumerism and sustainability, firms seek to market sustainable products face roadblocks when it comes to reaching the larger population. A critical component of overcoming all these barriers is communication. The green market is a group of sustainability-oriented customers and the businesses that serve them. Environmentalism is a movement of government agencies and the business community that advocates the preservation, restoration, and improvement of the natural environment. These three categories of marketing activities represent the various degrees to which a firm can adopt an environmental focus. The categories are governed by the overall environmental strategy a company chooses to implement. Figure 16.3 shows 5 types of environmental marketing strategies marketers can choose depending on a firm's competitive advantage and the overall marketing strategy it has adopted. 5 types of environmental strategies marketers can choose depending on, just explain that. So there's strategy 1, eco-efficiency, strategy 2, beyond compliance leadership, and strategy 3, eco-branding. Increasing fuel efficiency. To increase fuel efficiency, transportation companies like CR England have reconfigured their trucks by adding extenders from the cab to the trailer and side skirts that allow for easy airflow to decrease drag on the vehicle. And then strategy 4 is environmental cost leadership, and strategy 5 is sustainable value innovation. 5 types of environmental marketing strategies marketers can choose depending on a firm's competitive advantage and the overall marketing strategy it has adopted. Here are the benefits of environmental marketing. There's favorable public opinion, loyal customers. A lot of our environmental regulations will come from this. There's laws to protect the natural environment, like Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, Energy Policy Act, and then it also provides marketers with opportunities. Dell has received favorable feedback in response to its commitment to use 50% recycled paper for printed marketing materials. Through this commitment, Dell hopes to avoid using approximately 35,000 tons of virgin fiber annually. Political barriers in some countries can limit the availability of or increase prices on sustainable goods for consumers. One political barrier, for example, is a lack of political will on the part of leaders to enact sustainability-focused legislation. Emerging economies and sustainability. To capitalize on the interest emerging economies show in sustainability, Vodafone markets its mobile technologies to farmers in rural areas in sub-Saharan Africa who use the technology to communicate easily with prospective buyers, thus boosting their income. Here is an example of today's professional. Moving on. Marketing professionals need to listen, consider what they hear, and respond appropriately to the widest group of stakeholders possible. To capitalize on the opportunities social media provides, marketers must be consistent in their social media presence. The companies leading the way in merging corporate social responsibility and social media include some of the largest and most successful firms in the world. Sustainable tourism is the practice of recreational traveling in a way that maximizes the social and economic benefits to the local community and minimizes the negative impact on cultural heritage and the environment. And then how GE uses social media. GE uses a number of social media tools, including a blog and a Facebook page to list the hundreds of ideas that have been submitted as part of its Eco Imagination Challenge campaign, an experiment in which various businesses, entrepreneurs, and students submit clean energy ideas for funding. And that is it for Chapter 16.